We are freshly out of the December holiday season, and I don't know about you, but sometimes the holidays can leave me feeling more exhausted than I felt before the holidays. For anybody who's neurodivergent, whether it's ADHD, autism, brain injury, mental health diagnosis, or some other profile, the holiday season can be extremely challenging because it is overstimulating, unpredictable, many changes in plans, many decisions that have to be made, lots of problem solving, lots of prioritizing and sequencing, buying gifts, attending gatherings that are overstimulating, even things like not having access to your preferred foods, or not feeling safe or able to use self care tools like weighted blankets, bolsters, musician filtered earplugs, etc., for fear of stigmatization or judgment. It's no wonder that the holiday season can be difficult for lots of people. Now, as we are expected to return to school and return to work, you may find yourself in a bit of a fog, and it's not necessarily all related to what you may or may not have imbibed over the holidays. There are many valid reasons why you might be feeling it's tough to get back to work or back to the routine of normal life. I want to give you a couple of visuals and some examples to flesh out this idea. Please enjoy my incredible artistic rendering of this refractory period. I'm a visual learner, so I drew this schematic diagram to help explain to a client a pattern that I have noticed over the years in myself as a neurodivergent person and in my clients who have brain injuries. Here's the pattern. We are on an upward trajectory of productivity and workload. As we get to the holidays, we go over our usual maximum capacity, but due to circumstances, we're often pushed and pressured into performing above our comfortable threshold. We can mitigate this by taking our usual breaks and using our usual strategies, but these are exceptional circumstances. So, what worked for us during a less busy time won't cut it in this busy season when you are chronically operating above your comfortable limits. This means once the holiday season is over, I've noticed in myself and in my brain injury clients, our cognitive capacities tend to dip and go into what I call the refractory period. This metaphor of the refractory period comes from the basics of how neurons work. Our brain is made of billions of neurons, which all communicate to each other through electrical signals, which are called action potentials. After a neuron gets a strong enough input signal that goes beyond the threshold, the neuron fires its message, but then goes into a refractory period during which the same thing that set off the action potential is not able to trigger another action potential because the chain of chemical reactions is not ready to be triggered again. How does this relate to my previous visual? People who are neurodivergent or those who have brain injuries often have invisible sensory sensitivities, meaning they are easily overstimulated by sights and sounds. They also become overstimulated by cognitive tasks like solving problems or being forced to make a decision on the spot or coping with changes in plans and adapting flexibly to unpredictable circumstances. Also, the holidays are laden with highly emotional content, good, bad, and the whole gamut in between. Between the sensory overload, cognitive overload, and emotional overload, that can take a huge toll on an already compromised system. So, just like a neuron needs time to rest before it is ready to fire again, so does our brain need a period of rest after a prolonged period of intense cognitive, emotional, and physical strain. So, in the week or two after holidays or after a couple months of just crazy busyness, your brain might not be firing so hot, and tasks you once found simple will feel more draining and more complex and more difficult to complete because your brain is just crashing from almost chronic burnout. This is temporary as long as you give your brain enough time to recover from that period of unusual stress and you gradually then return to the activities and your pre busy season thresholds and tolerances. It's not my most eloquent explanation, but when I explain it to people who understand it and relate to it, it really resonates with them. Knowledge is power, and I hope that by understanding this conceptually, it will help you feel less ashamed of your difficulties and help you not internalize and make it mean that you're stupid or you're regressing. You are not. This is temporary, it's expected. And it will get better once life calms down a bit and our regular routines all kick in. Remember to use your activity points diet strategies to make sure you are giving your brain the rest it needs to get back to baseline function. Thank you so much. Be kind to yourself and Happy New Year.